Welcome to our Business at Breakfast. We certainly thank the Courtyard by Marriott for hosting our series this year. Today we have a discussion on digital marketing and social media. Hopefully an explanation of how social media fits into digital marketing and what the difference is. With us this morning we have Ray Friend and Nathan Kohler from WBOY-12, and they're in the digital marketing department there. So if you have questions, please chip in, and we thank them for being here this morning, and welcome to the presentation.
Thank you. We appreciate everybody coming in this morning. and us a little early, and we just appreciate having your time, and hopefully we deliver you some content that helps you throughout your business ventures. Okay, the topics we're going to cover today is digital marketing's best practices, what we kind of put together. And the topics are going to be your website, your digital presence, your digital advertising, and leveraging video. And the next phase of that would be your social media and best practices. Who should be leveraging social, and what should you utilize when you do it? Tell you a little bit about us as a company. We're WBOY and Nexstar Media Group. We're one of the, as it says here, the largest broadcast television station operators in the United States. We bring a local focus on national scale. Behind each digital campaign is a trusted broadcast station backed by a robust digital agency. We provide powerful partnerships with our business community, and our properties reach nearly 40% of the total internet audience. And as she said, my name is Ray Friend. I'm the digital sales manager. I have 25 years in the automotive industry, 5 years in digital media. Okay, and I'm the older guy that come on board as all these transitions were happening, and I'm like, prove it to me. And then I have Nathan. He's my integrated digital specialist. Nathan, tell them a little bit about yourself.
So I got into marketing first for Anthony Chevrolet in Fairmont, working through college, helping them with digital marketing, helping them get up to speed on how to leverage digital marketing, because it was still a topic that was fairly new to them at that time. So I spent time there. I've been more than 5 years as a media buyer. And then I was actually buying from Ray when I was losing my job, and he hired me at WBOY. So now I help other local businesses learn more about digital marketing and how they can use it.
And he missed his education, but he has a master's in marketing. So when I heard he was graduating with a master's in marketing, I couldn't wait to pick him up. And it's been a great hire.
So the first one we wanted to discuss was digital marketing best practices. And we'll explain why this is different from social media in a moment. But where we wanted to start here was really with your website. So why do you need a website? Well, it's really the first impression everyone has now of your business. 70 to 80% of consumers are going to research you online before they ever give you a chance to earn a business in person. It's also a virtual storefront. So you can see this example here. It's a product catalog for self-storage. It could also be a list of the types of services you offer, what products you have in stock. So really it's an extension of your physical store. And then communication. So most people nowadays, they want an alternative means of communication with you. They don't necessarily always pick up the phone and give you a call. They don't necessarily go to your business to have a conversation with you right away. They want to reach out in the way that's most convenient for them. My generation and myself personally, I'm going to want to message a company first on my own time. So that could be late at night so that I can get a response the next day. And the website lets you do that. So a lot of businesses we work with often ask, is a Facebook page enough to promote your business online? And there's a few reasons why it's not. The first topic is ownership. So you don't actually have control over the content on Facebook. Facebook has a lot of rules and restrictions that you have to follow. If you're a retailer for sporting goods like firearms, a lot of times you can't even post about that on Facebook. And depending on what types of services you offer, it can really be a headache to have to learn and manipulate Facebook in a way that's going to work best. Using a website gives you full control over the type of content and the type of products that you can advertise to people. It also gives you protection from Facebook's instability. We can all remember about a year ago when Facebook was down for days on end. We didn't know how to communicate with our friends or family. We didn't know how to communicate with our customers. So having a Facebook gives you that backup protection from Facebook and other instability. The other topic is competition. So having your own website really lets you tell your story to customers in the way that you feel fits best. On Facebook, all of your competitors are there too. So it's very easy for a customer to lose sight of who they're actually researching online. When it's your website, it's what you own, you control the conversation, you control the narrative. It also helps you rank in Google search results. Facebook really doesn't rank in Google at all. And we all know that when we're interested in a product or service, the first place we're going to go is Google to research what's out there. So having a website helps you get those first few listings online to make sure that you have the chance to earn a customer. And then the last topic is credibility. So having a thoughtful, well-designed website gives a sense of credibility to your customers. They think you're more reputable because you've invested the time it takes to build a website, you've invested in that expense, and it makes you look a lot more professional. So how do you get the most out of your website? The first thing you need to do is you have to make updates regularly. There's an asterisk here because it varies from business to business. Certain businesses don't have sales promotions, they don't change their products and services on a regular basis, so you don't have to update as often. But a good place to start is to put your sales promotions on your website. If you're a furniture retailer, every holiday sale that you have, you should be putting that on your homepage. So it gives customers an incentive not only to come buy from you, but it instills a sense of urgency that they have a great deal, they have to act now. You can also list new products and services, and you can put blogs on your website that really showcase your experience in your industry. That gives you a bit more credibility with your customers as well.
So the idea is just don't let your message get stale, right? We all have something to say. That's your best platform right there. And you control that whole narrative. So we don't want it to get stale. We don't want the same client that comes in and views your website to see the same old story. They quit coming, right? So we always want them to get some entertainment out of your website too.
Yeah. The other topic that you should be covering is monitoring leads. So like I said before, a website is really a means of communication between you and your customers. So you should keep track of who is reaching out to you via their website, and really who is reaching out for you in any channel, because customers want communication on their terms. And having a website with a contact form, it really means nothing if you aren't following up with your customers who reach out to earn their business. And then lastly is measuring analytics. This is something that really just gives you a lot of insight into how your marketing is working, into how customers are interacting with you. So for example, Google Analytics, this is a source medium report that can actually show where their internet traffic is coming from. So for this example, the first source is WBOY, it's our digital marketing campaign. Further down, they have direct traffic. So those are customers who know that business so well that they can type the URL straight into the web browser and immediately go to the website.
So one thing about Google Analytics, it's available to any of you with your website, right? If you don't have it set up, we highly recommend getting one set up. And you can always call Nathan or Ray and we'll find a way to help you get it set up or give you advice on doing it. But we just think that this is something that you can get, you can have, and they're changing their platform, Google is right now, so it's a good time to get in if you do not have it.
Yep. So now that you understand that you need a website, and it's clean and modern, easy to use, and informative, you understand that you have to make updates on a regular basis based on your business. You have to monitor it for leads and that you're measuring analytics. What's the next step? Well, it's really that you have to market your website to people, because having it, understanding that you have to monitor it, it really doesn't mean anything if people can't get to your website, if people don't know you're out there. So why is digital marketing essential? Number one, you can reach your customers at every stage of their shopping journey, all the way from awareness when they don't even know they're in the market for what you have to offer. You're just branding yourselves to them so that when they do realize that they need to buy a new car, they remember that they saw Anthony Chevrolet, and it gives them more trust in coming to buy from you. All the way down to the conversion stage when they're actually ready to make a purchase. They've gone to Google, they're specifically searching for you by name or for what you have to offer by name, and now your website shows up because you understand how to take advantage of it. The second reason is that the smartphone is actually the #1 most used device in a household, and I'm sure we can all relate to that, but 71% of Americans are actually going to check their smartphone within the first 10 minutes after they wake up. And they are actually spending about 4 hours throughout the day on their cell phone, and that's excluding business use. That's just personal time on your cell phone.
On that 10 minutes, that's almost half the crowd shake their head. Grab it on the nightstand and roll.
The third reason is that, again, you offer that direct path of communication to your customers. It's no longer a hassle that they know that they're in the market for a tap to offer. Now they have to get in their car, drive to you just to learn about what you're offering, what your hours are. They may drive to you and you're closed. Your website gives that direct path of communication to make it a lot easier for your customers to get in contact with you. And then the fourth reason is that, again, you can measure your results. You can use Google Analytics to actually see and understand what marketing you're leveraging that's working, how customers are getting to you, and what they're interested in. So how are you buying digital media? The point I want to get across here is that not all digital media partners are equal. There's a lot of differences in what they offer and how they leverage it. There's a lot of differences between the support teams behind your partners. So one of the problems that could arise is click fraud. That's the act of repeatedly clicking on a digital ad in order to drive up the cost to an advertiser or to make more money for the website that it shows up on. So you can see in this graphic here, the biggest names in media, the top rated national publishers, are a lot of times the most expensive, but they're the most protected. So you're paying for a very high quality presence. And whereas the cheapest sites that you often haven't even heard of are the most prone to things like click fraud. On average, about 36% of display ad clicks are fraudulent. And that's reputable vendors too. That's everyone in the marketplace, 36%. So how is it that you know what's credible and what isn't? There's a few ways that you can tell. So the first is taking a look at, again, your Google Analytics. So in this example is traffic that we sent to a website. So the first couple of options are tagged as WBOY, and you can see in the box there, ads preview.simplify is a vendor that we're buying through. These are separated from our WBOY tags because we determined that they're invalid. They're either click frauds, they were used for us to test the campaign to make sure it's working right. But anyway, it's separate, and that helps you give a sense of sort of how you can tell the difference between what's real and what's not.
Because a lot of times we'll go in and do a review of a campaign, right? And these numbers are actually higher than what our review data is when we go into a client. And the reason being is we sort it out, where Google counts every action that happens on your website. But we sort it out for our reporting. We pull out these, if we start a campaign, we're gonna test those ads, we're gonna make sure they're working, but we're not gonna test them and charge our client, we do it this way. So that's what a reputable provider will do.
So the other concern that you need to watch out for with regards to buying digital advertising is ad clutter. This happens when you go to a website, whether it be a news site or a blog, and it's flooded with advertisements. There's so many, you don't even know what's being advertised. You don't know what the blog was that you clicked on in the first place. So in this example here is a good explanation of it. There are so many ads that it just diminishes the value to each of them, and it gives you a poor experience. So the #1 reason why it's a bad thing is that customers there are getting overwhelmed. They develop a negative impression on the advertisers that were on that site, and that's even if they remember seeing your ad in the first place. So you should make sure that the vendors that you choose are targeting those high quality placements with minimal ad intrusion. This example here, you can clearly get to the content that you want. In this case, it's a stock market report, and the ads have prominent placements. It's easier for you to remember what those ads were, and there's more value to that advertiser.
The higher chance there will be an engagement where they click and go to that website we're telling you about.
Yeah. So all of this basically means you need to make sure that you're vetting the partners that you work with. You have to make sure that they're reputable, and any reputable vendor is going to be transparent about how they're protecting you from things like click fraud or ad clutter, where they're placing your ads, how they're buying it. And all of that just basically means that you're getting better performance out of your marketing campaigns. The next topic we wanted to cover is the importance of programmatic advertising. So what that basically means, programmatic advertising is buying media with an audience-first approach. So the old way, they still sometimes use, we even leverage it sometimes, we're using programming and content as a proxy for interest. So this example here, the lady was watching outside TV and they saw an ad for camping gear because of where the ad showed up. There are still circumstances where it's a good idea, but it should always be combined with a new way of buying advertising, a programmatic way. So here, even though she's watching outside TV, she's seeing an ad for furniture because she just moved into a new home and she had been shopping online for furniture. And then the next topic I'll let Ray talk is social media best practices and why we sort of separated this differently than digital marketing.
So why social media is essential to your marketing strategy? Well, go ahead, sir.
Can we go back a step?
Yes, absolutely.
Is that, programmatic
Yes.
advertisement? How do you do the second the new way?
Okay, good. You want to answer?
Yeah. It's really about who you partner with and where you're buying media. So you can do it yourself. There are resources like the Trade Desk, like Simplify, like Centro, and that's what's called a demand side platform. So that's where people buy advertising. We sell programmatic advertising. Just about every media vendor out there sells programmatic advertising. So really the difference that you watch for is that when we sell WBOY.com, for example, that's more like the old way. When we sell digital marketing services, that's like the new way.
So,
it's sort of hard to explain really how to do it.
So the
but
way it's done out there in the world he's talking about is, and we've probably all experienced, or at least most of it experienced, if you're looking for something online and you go to Amazon or if you go to Wayfair or whatever, you're tagged, you're tracked, okay? This is that creepy world that everybody goes, oh, it's so creepy, but that's what happens, right? And it's changing because cookies are going away, but there's other ways of tracking it. We have a product that tracks your cell phone that you've been in here, and it's all based on your development kit. When you downloaded an app, it traced it. But what we do, and what most people do when they're running programmatic, is they follow everybody that's online. So we have over 100 data partners, let's say. And one of them at one point was, it was one of those apps where you can push a button if you fell down, right? So they had a whole list. And we could follow it that way because we knew who those people were, that what their demographic was, what their age group was, what their interest was. The other way of doing it is just as you travel online, you're tagged in about every website you go. As we showed you in the Google Analytics how our product is tagged, so we tag that. And it's done, our company's large and we have a lot of sources to draw that data in, and now we know what your habits are. This week I started looking for a GMC pickup truck, right? So now if I go on Facebook, I see ads for GMC pickup truck. If I go anywhere on coloringbook.com, Puzzles R Us, whatever, I'm served ads based on what I was shopping for. So, technology today has the ability to say, listen, we don't need to just serve everybody in this room because everybody's looking for something different, right? Everybody is out there looking for something different. We all sell products or services that are different. So, we have ways of tagging it and then we deliver it to that person. So it's a more scalpel effect. Does that answer your question, sir?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Any others? Okay. Okay, so why social media? Well, because our consumers today make purchases decisions based on the company's online reputation, on social media, and business review sites, right? They type in, my wife's the best at it, she'll go on a business review site, and if she's gonna buy anything, she reviews it, right? And I'm that guy, if I see it and I want to just buy it, but she's a reviewer. So they look on there and that's how it happens. So as we run this slide here, 54% of the consumers now use social media to research products, right? They're going in there and they're driving that engagement to where they can learn about it. Then 79% of the people said that user-generated content on social media significantly impacted their purchase decisions. Absolutely, right? You see it, it looks good, this is what you want. Used to be infomercials on TV, right? You'd stop by and look at it, next thing you know, you're calling QVC. And then the other is, the average internet user has 8.6 social media accounts. Now, I'm not that guy, but I do have my 3 and my 4, and when I pick my phone up in the morning, it's usually Facebook I'm scrolling through. And I'm a little outside that demographic, but things shift constantly, and we follow that, and our company has a way of following it. So it's a moving target, but it's definitely a great way to reach people. And then over here, when they go on those sites, 4-star ratings, and they've done studies and say that when people go looking, they won't look at anything under a 4-star rating when they're looking for a product. So that's where they get their advice, their recommendations. So you need to be involved in social media. And a lot of what we'll talk about today is the reputation, your reputation. Go ahead.
Right. And social media is really important because customers care about what their friends and family think of businesses. They care about what their peers think. So that's why when we move into reputation management, it's probably, in my opinion, the most important part of how you leverage social media for your business. Because a strong campaign in reputation management can be the difference between earning customers and losing customers. So 76% of all reviews are spread between 2 sites, Google and Facebook. That, in the first place, it makes it easy for you to manage those reviews. But there are a couple of tips in how you manage those reviews that we want to talk about. So the first one is that you should share your best reviews on social media. If you have great customers that you work with on a regular basis, ask them for a testimonial. Ask them to go online and share why they like you. The other topic is that not every review is going to be positive. You should have a plan in place to make sure you know how to handle when negative reviews when they come in. I used to work in the automotive industry, for example, and there was not a week that went by when there wasn't a negative review about our service department. And I handled it because it took some level of distance between me and the owner of the dealership, so I could handle it without bias. But the first step that I took was to understand what the customer's concern was, learn who that customer was, why they're upset, and then reach out online to extend help. Extend, a sense that you want to help them satisfy the situation.
You can turn a negative into a positive. So when you get an engagement like that, and it may not be the most positive engagement, if you reach out in the proper way and you respond in a good way, then the people that are watching these posts are going, wow, they're not running from this, they're answering their question. They answered that correctly. I mean, I rate people on how they answer it now, right? Absolutely, what a great job, right? So it's nothing to be, and Nathan's exactly correct, is we don't want to take it personal, right? We want to, but we can't. Because once you take it personal, then it's a debate. And I haven't seen anybody's debates online really come out good. If you're on social media and you're on Facebook and somebody brings up a political thing, you don't even want to look at that anymore. You just want to get away because it gets ugly. So yeah, you can take this negative review, but definitely you want to accentuate your positive reviews. You want to make sure they get posted and they get out there.
Yeah. And then the last topic is don't delay in making a response. Whether it's a positive review or a negative review, you're judged based on the timeliness of when you answer it. If there's a negative review that you had and it took you 2 months to reply to that customer to offer a solution, people can see that, and it gives people a negative perception that you're slow in trying to accommodate people. The same with a positive review. The quicker that you can reply to a positive review to thank that customer, the better perception other customers and other potential consumers are going to have on your business. So we're talking about social media, and really, why is this topic separate from digital marketing, the rest of digital marketing? And it's because there are some different rules that apply to social media that you have to keep in mind. The first one is that not every social media platform is right for every business. There are 6 platforms up here. All of them have a different audience that uses it. Some is older, some is younger, some is a professional audience like LinkedIn, others are not, like TikTok. So there is a unique way to leverage each of those to work for your business. The second is that each platform has a unique audience and they engage with it in different ways. Facebook, oftentimes, they scroll very fast through your newsfeed. We can all relate to just trying to find what our friends or family are sharing, trying to get past all the advertising. TikTok, on the other hand, is something that's used for entertainment. So you're going there not with the expectation of seeing ads, not with the expectation of communicating with the business, of buying products and services. You're there for entertainment. So you have to understand that and understand how you wrap your content in a way that fits the platform and that the users on that platform are going to appreciate. The third topic is that, again, you have to cater your content towards the platform. And then fourth, you have to be realistic about your ability to leverage a number of different social media accounts. I can't tell you how often me and Ray work with a business and they're trying to run so many social media accounts. They're trying to run the business on their own, but their priority is their customers. It's in making their business money. So a lot of times it gets put on the back burner. They don't focus on it. So you have to be selective about which platforms that you're using and understand your limitations. Don't use a platform just because you think it's the next hot thing that people are jumping on. Use a platform only if you think there's going to be value in it for your business.
Because, I mean, just think about it. If you take on too many of them and you don't reply, and you don't answer, and you don't post frequently enough, and you don't share proper content, all you're doing is hurting your reputation, right? And it's something that a lot of business will take and have one of their employees do it if they don't have enough time. I met with a gentleman, and he laughed at me when we talked. I said, I do all my social media. And we started talking. He says, yeah. I said, how often do you post? He said, well, I wake up in the morning, and I think, I'm going to make that post today. And I'm going to do it this morning. And he said, and all of a sudden I realized I got to let the dog out. I got to feed the dog. Then the kids got to eat breakfast. And he said, by the time it's over, I'm already at work, so I got to be there, and I got to take things, it's my business I'm running. And he said, then I kind of forget about it. To be honest with you, Ray, I don't post as much as I think I should. And that's the case, right? If you don't have the ability to take too much on, to handle it, don't take it on. Be very good at what you do, would be my advice when it comes to social media.
Yeah. So the first social media accounts that we're going to talk about is really Facebook and Instagram. And this is important because Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Messenger, they're all owned by the same company, and they all cover a very broad demographic when you combine them. So 2.82 billion people log into one of the apps every day. Facebook is the most popular app for adults that are 35 to 44 years old. 70% of American adults use Facebook. So it's such a huge audience. It's really somewhere that you should be advertising, that you should put your presence of your business on. Instagram is the preferred social media network for Generation Z. And it also has a growing older audience, but that helps you capitalize on the audience that's out there that Facebook is missing. And then Facebook Messenger, it really helps you fulfill the need of 64% of Americans who don't want to call your business, who don't want to come to you physically before they know where they're buying from. They want to reach out to you on their own terms, text messaging, instant messaging. That's what they want, that's what they prefer. And offering that service is easy because all of these companies are owned together. When you post on Facebook, a lot of times it's simply a checkbox to also post the same content on Instagram. Messenger is integrated in Facebook, so it gives you an automatic free resource to communicate with customers online. And because they're so popular, there's a lot of resources out there about how you can leverage it for your specific business. What we want to talk about how you leverage Facebook is really about posting engaging, relevant content. So you have to make sure that your page isn't going stale. You want to post to your Facebook page on a regular basis, and you want to post content that people find interesting. Some of the topics that you can post could be pictures and videos that show your company's culture. If you have a staff party, if you're recognizing employees for their great service, if you're recognizing customers after they make a purchase, those are all unique, organic ways to reach out to people, and they're not a sales pitch.
Then there's the industry news, right? So we can keep our customers informed on things. So we all have industry newsletters we have articles we read online. If it's engaging to you, it's engaging to your client, right? The people that are coming to you. So post those. Go in there and just post it in there, and people are going to read it, and they get accustomed to coming to you looking for industry knowledge.
And then you should ask questions to your customers. Find out what they like about you, what they don't. find out what products or services they're interested in. You can use polls on social media to ask people to vote for new products, to ask people to vote on what they like best about you. So try and find sort of unique content to include your customers in the conversation, and to get their own content integrated into your social media.
And the other thing I get a kick out, oh, go ahead, sir.
So there's a lot of people out there that report themselves as social media experts. There's a lot of people on social media that report themselves as social media experts.
Yep.
And every one of them, like from Vanderchuck on down, will give you a different opinion of like frequency
Yes.
of that. What is your opinion on frequency?
Yeah, and good question, and that's really the reason that I didn't include frequency in here. It's because there's so many opinions in there
Right.
about how frequent you should post.
So
There
what
are
have you
people
found successful though? Or is it a by?
in
Industry.
it is by
Industry,
industry. I
yeah.
think the rule of thumb is to plan to post at least once a day.
Sure.
If you have that plan in place, sure, there are days when you're not going to be able to post. There are days when you're going to have extra content. But if you keep it in your mind that you're posting every day, it really, 3 to 5 times a week, that's really the sweet spot into making sure that each of those posts get to everyone. Putting, 3-4 posts a day out to people, they might get one of those. They might not. So, just plan to, based on what time you have, based on your industry, plan about once a day a different piece of content that you want to put out, and then try and follow through with that the best you can, understanding that there are days when you're going to miss an opportunity. There are days when you're going to have extra.
Facebook also has the scheduler, so if you have
Right.
like
Yep.
10 extra minutes, you can go down through there.
Yeah, if you
Right.
start Monday scheduling your week's worth of posts, that's great. If you want to be more current with your posts on certain things, that's great. And it could also adjust on how many times you post a day based on the content you're posting, right? So if I normally post that I have a sofa love seat combination for sale, and I have a special on it, then people are used to seeing that. But say I have a position open for a salesperson, they're not used to seeing that. So if you put that in the same day, it's not gonna offend anybody, right? But if you just keep pushing over and over again, then they quit going to your site, they unlike you, they move away. We just don't want that to happen. So that's why we're very careful on how we tell anybody to do their management of their reputation and how often to make a post, right? You gotta be very careful on that. But 2 times a day doesn't kill it, it doesn't hurt it, not at all. But if I see a car dealer post all these cars they sold all in the next 4 hours, that's just not good. I'm going to quit looking at it, right? Or any other industry, but I'll just use it as an example because that's where my history was. But yeah, so there's no set in stone. You can go online and they'll tell you there's certain times of the day that are peak, right? And try it. But if it doesn't work for you, that doesn't mean just what I said isn't right. Your client's not up at that time of day. Maybe your consumers doesn't even look at anything until after 9 o'clock at night, right? So you just got to fill it out and you got to do it. And that's why I'm saying it takes attention. It takes some attention to be able to figure out where your engagement comes in at.
Yeah.
It seems to be the most debated. I mean,
Yeah.
debate's not a good word, but like I said, there's a lot of people out there that are
Yes.
going to tell you, I know how to do
Right.
social media, and this is the thing that I notice that people don't agree on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because someone will say 4 a day. You got to put four pieces of content out a day. Or you got to, and you're
And
saying.
If
3 a
you
week.
have your own social media person in-house, if you have someone dedicated to marketing in-house,
Sure.
they may be able to reach that 4 posts a day, and it may work for your business, it may not. Some of those posts may not get seen, but when you're managing for your own business and you have other responsibilities, it's just important that you know where you're putting your time, that you understand how effective you can be, because there are a lot of steps involved in leveraging each social media account the right way. So really, the important thing that I want you to take away from this is that you can research how often you're posting, you can research online when's the best time to post, but the number one most important thing is the quality of the content that you're posting. So don't post the same content over and over again. Don't be repetitive, make sure there's variety in it, and don't always be trying to sell something. Post content without the intent of getting a sales lead. And when you do that, the customer engagement comes and you can actually grow your Facebook that way.
Any other questions?
So the other social media we want to talk a bit about is YouTube. And YouTube is actually an excellent tool when you want to put video into your marketing plans. So maintaining a YouTube account, it actually improves your Google search results rankings. That's because Google owns YouTube. And embedding videos on your website improves your website's SEO. So you're able to rank higher when people go to Google, they search for your business. You can be more competitive when there are videos on your website.
I don't know what SEO is, Nathan.
SEO is search engine optimization. So that's basically everything technical that happens behind the scenes of your website for Google to identify it as reputable and for Google to give you priority over everyone else in your field. It's also about the content that you're putting on your website, like videos, like blogs that showcase your expertise in your field, that also increase your rankings so that you can be potentially on the first page of your Google search results, and you have the best chance of earning a new customer when they haven't made a decision on who they're buying from yet. So video is also 12 times more likely to be watched and heard than text is to be read. We can all relate to that. We relate to it on our own news site. When we post articles and stories, people aren't reading all of that text. They're watching the first video of our anchor talking about the story. So video is really an important strategy for pretty much every business. And there are a few unique ways that you can leverage video for your business. The first one is a product walkthrough. So we've worked with a home manufacturer who builds modular and manufactured homes, and they post video walkthroughs of each of the homes that they offer. That's a unique way to showcase the product without being a sales pitch. The other thing you might want to try is video testimonials. So if you have great customers that you work with on a regular basis, ask them if they're willing to sit down for a couple minutes to talk about why they chose you, why they work very well with you, and why you're so great to work with. New product launches are also something that you can use video to explain. So anytime that you're adding a new product to your lineup or a new service that you want to offer to customers, it's one thing to sort of say it and expect people to know what you mean, but when you can offer a video that explains what it is that you're offering, why you're offering it, and why it's beneficial to your customers, then you get more engagement, and it's more likely that your customers are going to want the new product that you have.
So a quick show of hands. Has anybody went to YouTube to figure out how to do something, whether it's to paint a cat? There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly. So just for example, say HVAC, right? Somebody has a problem with their furnace. It's not blowing as cold. Their air conditioner's not blowing as cold, right? So they go online, they look at YouTube. Is this something I can handle real quick? So they go in and say this HVAC has a recommendations, 10 steps, right? Hey, go to your furnace, pull this cover off, there's a filter, check your filter. It should be replaced every 30 days. Little informational video, right? All that does is just a soft sell on yourself, because if they try this stuff and it didn't work, well, whose video do I want? I'm gonna call them, I'm gonna reach out to them. So that's why we recommend, doing that, because the instructional videos, I think, is a great way. If your industry, provides that, absolutely the best way to go.
Yep.
And then embed it on your website.
Right. So what about the rest of the social media accounts? Because we only talked about a couple, but there are so many out there. And when should you as a business be leveraging these into your online marketing? LinkedIn, for example, is great to use when you have business-to-business connections that you want to make. When you're selling to other businesses, when you work across lines with other businesses in a partnership, LinkedIn is a great place to be. And it's also a valuable tool if you need to hire professionals. If you need to hire anyone in an office-oriented job, LinkedIn really is a valuable asset that doesn't cost you money to use organically as a recruitment tool. The next topic is TikTok. So TikTok is short form video, and it's mostly for entertainment. But that same home manufacturer that I talked about who uses YouTube, they also use TikTok to tease those videos. So they give a sneak peek of a great kitchen design, and then they encourage you to click through to go to their YouTube account, to go to their website, to see more about that home, to see all of it together. So really, it's a great way to sort of tease stuff that you're, maybe a new product that you're about to launch. You can tease it on TikTok to try and get more interest out there. And then Twitter is a social media account that you use when you have to share content that changes very quickly, like news. So Twitter is great for political campaigns. Political candidates are always updating what they're about on Twitter because they can get out to their base fast. Accountants may use it to share information about tax that's changing on a regular basis and how they can help consumers, businesses. And then fast food might use TikTok or Twitter, excuse me, to share their daily promotions, to share their weekly promotions, and share new products that they're rolling out. So it's good when you have expedience, when expedience is important. So the one thing that all of these social media and digital marketing will share, everything out there in the space, there's one topic, and it's that you should be leveraging video no matter where you're marketing, no matter what tool you're using, even if it's traditional media. Because video combines sight and sound to reach people's emotions. You know, people are attentive when they're watching a video. They're not as attentive as they're browsing the web, as they're reading articles, as they're perusing the newspaper. The second topic is 90% of consumers agree that video impacts their decision to make a purchase. Like we said before, they're researching products and services online before they ever give you a shot to earn their business. So using video to tell your story and to explain your product in a way that is beneficial to your customer is very important to make sure that you have the chance to earn their business. And then consumers prefer video over other types of content. Like we said before, the reason that all of our online stories have a video along with them is because those are the important stories that we want people to understand. We want to get out there because they're watching those videos, they're not reading the content, they're not reading that article. And then the fourth reason is that video advertising receives on average 27% higher click-through rates. So that means when you can explain your products and services through video, people are more likely to click on that video to learn more about you or to make a purchase because they're actually paying attention to what was in those videos. So that was all that we wanted to cover, just basically a brief overview of how you leverage both and why they're different. So are there any other questions?
So